Happy 2023. For those ones who are new here, welcome to the group and feel at home. Remember to subscribe. For those ones who are returning, let's keep the community growing. In the striker today, we are focusing on the increased cases of murder, killing, and attempted killings and attacks in the country. Honestly, if you look at the cases that have been reported of, 1, people who have been killed by strangers, 2, people who have been killed either by their lovers, their partners, or their husbands, 3, bandits attacks that have happened in the country. In the last 2 months, honestly, this number cannot be less than 100. And you know, this skyrocketing number comes against the backdrop of the CS Interior Honorable Kindiki promising Kenyans that actually he's really working hard to ensure that insecurity has been eradicated in the country. Few months ago, actually around 1 or 2 months ago, Honorable Kindiki, the CS Interior, was in the Rift Valley, and he actually promised people that actually cattle rustling, raid, and bandit attacks is going to be a thing of the past. A lot of police operations, of course, have been carried out in terms of these bandit attacks. But 2 days ago, there was a report of a banditry attack in Kerio and people had been killed. Now the question is, what's happening? Why is it that when we have police operations, it will not take long before actually we have another attack? I will handle that in this video, honestly, and we are going to find out why these things keep on recycling or reoccurring. And then we have also seen cases of people being kidnapped and killed. A good example is Baby Sagini, who was kidnapped, assaulted, and even the eyes gouged out. We have also cases of people who have been killed. We have 2 children in Itako who were killed. We have partners who have killed their lovers, etc. So it is raising a very disturbing question on why are we having actually cases of people being killed, being maimed, and some are even being killed by their lovers. We have 2 cases of right now of university students. One in Kahawa from Kenyatta University, who was found dead in the boyfriend's house. Another one is in Nakuru, who was also found dead in the boyfriend's house. So the question is, what's happening? And why actually are the people finding it so easy to kill people? You know, the question about killing people actually was something that was somehow highly feared few years ago, but as time goes by, it is becoming like a norm. Somebody killing somebody and going scot-free is becoming a norm, and that's why today I decided to do this particular video. We are having a lot of people being killed, maimed, attacked, and the assaulters are not actually held responsible the way they are supposed to be held responsible. Somebody kills somebody, and 2 years down the line, we have a case lying in court. The verdict has never been charged, has never been passed. The family piles one of their own, and the moment you pile the body, that is the case. That's akin like the case has been closed, because the cases are dragging. You find somebody was killed maybe in the year 2019 or 2020 or even in 2018, some as far as 2015, but the assaulters were arrested, put in remand for some time, then released on bail, and the case is always, you know, today somebody never appeared in court, the other day, so you find that by the end of the day, there's no justice that is being served to the members of the family members that actually lost their beloved ones, and the assaulters are roaming freely in the society. Now, how are you going actually to convince a younger generation of individuals that killing is bad, and if you kill, actually you'll be held responsible, when they see assaulters and murderers roaming freely in the society, in the community? Somebody is known to have killed some people, but all is known to have murdered somebody, but he's still roaming freely in the community. He has been released from jail courtesy of bailing, and is outside there. How do you handle such cases? From my perspective, I feel like the judiciary in this country has let us down in terms of murder cases, because there's no way somebody kills somebody and 2 years down the line you are calling out investigations. Come to think of it, which actually investigations are we calling out when you have a board of somebody, they are dead, and you can be able to take fingerprints of this on the body of this particular person, or you can be able actually to trace the suspected individuals that you have. You can be able to trace and tell whether or not actually they were involved or not, and close this case. Why is it that 2 years down the line you tell people they are investigating? Actually, what do you do in these investigations? Because you have somebody who has been killed, evidence of murder is there, and still you are just there telling people investigations, and by the end of the day you end up releasing assaulters, murderers, kidnappers, thieves, all sorts of categories of people into the society, and the same people continue doing the same cycle of murder, assaults, everything. So I just feel like we don't have a strong justice system that is actually administering this justice the way it is supposed to be. We have court system where I feel like people just drag the system the way they want. If I'm reported, or if I'm supposed to appear in court, I'd say not to appear in court, and by the end of the day actually nothing happens, or the case keeps on being dragged. Can we have a backlog of all those cases that are actually in our courts being reduced? Can we have cases being investigated as soon as possible, and justice being served there and then, and we move on with life? I think the day we will have somebody, actually people being given the right sentence for the murder that they are committing in this society, actually we will have reduced cases of violence and reduced cases of murder in this particular community, in this particular society. Secondly, when we talk about these assaults, and we talk about bandit attacks, and when we talk about theft with robbery in the cities, in our homes, and even these bandit attacks that are happening in places, for example in Baragoi, Keriofare, etc. I think this is a very big responsibility to the Ministry of Interior. And I want to say that we have seen so many CSs talking about, that is the Cabinet Secretary's Interior, talking authoritatively threatening gangs, threatening militias, threatening bandits. You know, we will do operation, we will send our men in uniform. I remember vividly the former CS Interior, Honorable Matiang'i. He was very vocal and he could talk, but imagine with all Matiang'i's authoritative way of speaking and whatever, still those cases never reduced. We had several bandit attacks. He could go somewhere, speak, and then 2 days later where he left, there's a bandit attack. Police operation will take place in Nakuru today. The next day we have cases of people who have been attacked in the same region. So it tells you one thing, that being CS Interior is not just about standing before the media and actually, you know, sending verbal threats to gangs, because these people are among the citizens in this country. They see how you come and say we were going to do, or even if they are not there where you are giving that media report, they are watching this in our media houses, in our media news. So they know you are planning to do this, and you realize that you give them a clue of what you wanna do. So do you think you can tell somebody that you are coming to attack, and they sit there and wait for you to come and attack? Definitely, by the time you are sending the police or the men in uniform to that particular place for an operation, actually you are maiming wrong people. The really culprits have gotten lost. Maybe they are not even somewhere near that particular county. Once you go, they come back, they do it again, they run away. So I just feel like this sending of empty threats in the media, in these the media conferences by our CSs in terms of security is not going actually to solve any problem. You can be as authoritative as you want to be, but the truth is, in violence and security matters, I just believe that we need to see more actions. And some of these actions, the move in violence and security actually does not require hair time. No, I just feel like if you want to do something, you want to carry out a police operation, why can't you do it abruptly without notifying anybody? Why must you say we are sending boys there and then you send boys after you have announced? So does it actually make sense? It's like you have already sent a warning to people. And the truth of the matter is, bandits and these raiders are out for a mission. They are not doing this because they don't know what they are doing. They are out for a mission. They know how they gain from these attacks. So when you send a warning to them, it's just to tell them, run away. And then when they go away, you come, you attack wrong people, or you just start unleashing violence to the wrong people in terms of villagers and people who live there, when actually the culprits are not within the vicinity. And then you also realize that how do we carry our operations? We carry our operations with our police officers fully attuned in their police attires. Can we change the game perhaps? What if we started doing operations abruptly and with our police officers may not donning their official police attires per se, like they go with their red caps, etc. Can we have, for example, our police officers dressed, yes, maybe with their bulletproof vests? And this can be done in so many ways. If somebody wore a bulletproof vest and a t-shirt from outside, you will not even know. Why can't we have such an operation? Like, these people are done kind of in civilian kind of clothes, but they are armed. I know this is something that is very possible. Why must we parade them in full police attires? By the time they leave the barracks here in Nairobi or in Nakuru and they arrive at Baragoi, everybody knows this is the JSU, and actually this JSU is going somewhere, and people have taken photos. That convoy has been taken photos. It is circulating in TikTok, it's circulating in Facebook, courtesy of the social media and technology advancement in the country right now. So by the time even they are alive, you realize that even the people have gone. So I just feel like it's high time that the country changed its way of operation in terms of eradication of militias and banditry, and it's high time that we stop seeing CS Interior and Defense in media conferences or in media houses talking authoritatively about the next move that they are supposed to do. For me, I'm like, if they kept quiet and acted, then we see the results of the action. Not you come to the media, you talk, and then 2 days later we hear an attack in Keriofare, an attack in Baragoi. And then finally, it also has to do with the road infrastructure to most of these places. A place like Baragoi, you realize that honestly, the road, it's not so much, the road infrastructure, it's not so much good, and it's not so much accessible with the kind of vehicles and the kind of machines that can be needed in terms of tracing these bandit attacks. And then there's also something that has to do with the network in that particular place. So it's also a call by the government. These places fall within counties, and these counties have a budget every year. Why can't these county governments also work on improving the road infrastructures within these localities that we are experiencing bandit attacks, and tracing the bandits becomes difficult because of the road network, the road infrastructure, the internet and the network structure, etc. The fact that we have had leaders from these places over years being elected and they are not doing anything to improve these places tells us also one thing about these particular leaders. It is either these leaders are in support of these bandits and they are using this banditry as form of their politics to gain power and consolidate power, all they're just not interested with the development of that particular region. Once they gain leadership, they just come and parade and live their luxurious lives in the city here in Nairobi. So it's also a call by the government. I think for me, the CS Interior, when you're talking about eradicating militias in certain places, for example, if you want to eradicate militias in Paraguay, in Keriofare, can you start by the leaders of that particular place? Can each leader be investigated in connection to these groups? Because how comes these places produce leaders honestly for over years, and these leaders never develop within the road network to that particular place? And these leaders actually never speak anything about these bandits. Do you want to tell us that these leaders are so innocent? I think for me, these are the people who are supposed to be first to be investigated. Leaders, and when I'm talking about leaders, we start from the governors, the MCAs, the MPs, you know, the senators, the women reps from any county that is registering bandit attacks should be investigated in relation to these bandits. Because there's no way bandits are in your locations, there's no red network, and some of these senators, governors, women reps, MCAs have been leaders for the last, like, let me say 10 years. They have served, others have served 2 terms, others like the MCAs have served forever, and they are just there. But what is happening? And it's also good that you get to know what actually the chiefs talk in the chiefs barasas within these localities. You would realize that a lot of the bandits attacks and raiding that is happening has nothing to do with the common citizenry or the common mwananchi who we go to pit whenever there's a police operation. It has a lot to do with even the area chiefs. These are the people who are instigating violence, but they are kind of immune. They have not been investigated. They have not been linked to these groups in any way. And we want to rely on the same people to catch this, all to arrest, all to eradicate these bandits. So I just feel like the CS Interior, Honorable Kindiki, you have work to do. If at all you have to secure this particular nation, you have work to do, and this work you will have to do it silently. You don't need to come to the internet, to the media and tell Kenyans what you are going to do. No, we want to see you work. I remember vividly, I was very young growing up when Michuki was the Minister of Security. But then we had, you know, ministers of security something. We never had the CS. That was before the current constitution. And I do remember vividly, Michuki really spoke in the media, and we saw groups like Mungiki totally going hibernating. They never reserved. They came to reservice when Michuki got out of that particular docket. It tells you that there's something Michuki did differently, that these other ministers of security and the CSs that have come after him have not been able to do. Perhaps there's so many lessons that we should go back to the Michuki area and see what Michuki did. Look at the policies that Michuki developed and see how you can be able to follow those policies to the current situation and see how they can be used actually in securing this particular nation. And as we say, all of us, security begins with me and you. As we even look up to the CSE Interior and the Ministry of Interior in general to secure the nation, can you be the first ambassador of security? Otherwise, see you next time. The CSTV signing out, Madam CS.